it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and Shame here with the first half of my November wrap-up. This is just what I've been reading lately. I love doing mid-month wrap-ups. I have read so far, what is the date today? It's actually the 18th, but I'm going to include a couple books that I've been reading lately because I was out of town, and I have read 13 books, which is amazing. I read 5 on my trip, but that's because 2 of them I completely read on a plane. 2 of them were novellas I was almost done with, and 1 was an audiobook that I finished. So we're going to go ahead and get to the 15 books that I've read so far this month and just chat about what I've been reading, because I don't think I've talked about these a lot on my channel yet. So the first one I read for my book club with Lacey, and it is That Sick Love by Jessie Hall. This one was not for me. I didn't know going in that it was a like really religious trauma heavy romance, but that it's not as... It's hard to read this and not compare it to all the other books I've read. So like, if I look at Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin and Priest by Sarah Simone, this just wasn't as good. This one I feel like did not really develop enough of the characters. So this one, the heroine's super religious. She's being stalked and she like doesn't care that she's being stalked. And I know a lot of people compared this to Haunting Adeline by H.G. Carlton as well. And I don't think it really is at all similar except for the fact that they have stalkers. I actually gave that one 4 stars. And this one I'm going to give, I think, 3. This one, I just feel like because she was brought up so much in the church and then this guy came along, she flipped a switch like that. I feel like there was not enough like inner turmoil over learning like the truth of the corruption in her religion and following this guy and all of a sudden being able to like take people down with a knife. Like she went to like turned goody two shoes, super religious, believing everything she's told, to like vigilante in like 10 pages. So I wanted a little bit more depth. I want a little bit more turmoil in like her decision to believe him and leave everything she's been taught. And he was just okay. I feel like there wasn't a lot of depth to his character as well, and he just had, again, religious trauma, and it is just fine. Like, this book was okay. And it didn't feel like I think of like the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas, which is not as dark as this was, like didn't go as dark as this one was, but I like that one so much more. So like, I've seen different elements of this book done better and in ways that I like, so 3 stars for this one. I did listen on audio and it was so long. Like, I think it definitely went on way too long, but not a favorite. Let me know if I should check out more by this author. Then I read Broken Harbor by Catherine Cowles. I love this book so much. This one is the special edition I just got in the mail today. The book releases tomorrow, the day I'm filming this, so it comes out the day before. So it's out now from today. And this is a hockey player single mom romance. It is book 3 in the Sparrow Falls series. It can be read as a standalone, and the heroine is running from a past, and she doesn't trust very easily, especially people who are in the media and are athletes, because her ex was an athlete and it did not end well. And so she's a single mom, she has her bakery, and she is just trying to stay away from her ex, and she falls for Cope, who is a hockey player. He is home during the off season, and his family is just very found family of his foster siblings / real siblings, and he falls for her, and he is her son's hockey coach. He is coaching the little like camp happening in town, and they fall for each other, and he is someone who just wants to give everything of himself to someone and take care of people, and I love his character so much. The spice was really good in here too, and I just really love this book. So if you love romantic suspense, there is a danger that happens, keeps you on your toes. I cried in this book. Please read it. Then another 5-star read is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. This one is, oh my god, so good. So I love a book where it's 2 brothers fighting over someone, and that happened in this one. So she is best friends with this guy, and she's actually a witch, and her and this guy have been best friends for a very long time, and she's very much trying to put on the persona of being just this flighty rich girl who goes to parties, right? She's really a witch, and witches bleed black, and when they use magic they have to use blood, and it leaves silver scars. So she has never cut herself before. She only uses her period blood for magic, and so she can only do very weak spells. But she is known as the Crimson Moth because she goes and saves witches who are being hunted by the government. And the hero is actually a witch hunter, and he is the brother of her best friend. And so she wants to get close to him to figure out how to save this witch that needs saving. He wants to get close to her because he has heard rumors that she could be the Crimson Moth. So they're trying to court each other, but also get secrets from each other, but also they're falling in love. The angst in here, at one point we have like brothers boxing with each other because they're mad at each other because they both love the same girl. Obsessed. Love this so much. Highly recommend. 5 stars. I just could not get enough. Then I did read When She Unravels by Gabrielle Sands, I believe, and this one I gave 4 stars. I was actually really surprised at how much I liked it. So the heroine is actually married in the beginning to someone in the mafia, and he makes her do horrendous things to other people, like take her down to the basement and do things to people. And she has finally had enough. She's like, I cannot do this. And so she's actually never even been intimate with her husband other than their wedding night. And so she is not that experienced in that area. So she decides to escape when she finally sees him kidnapping a younger woman. I think she's like a teenager. She is like, I can't do this. So she escapes with this girl, hops on a plane, and goes to Ibiza, I think. And so now she's like, I have no ID, I have no money. She got robbed when she got there. So she's like, I have to find a job. So she finds a job at this club that her like new roommates are working at, and the boss takes an interest in her, and he might have some connections to her world. So I thought it was really, really good. I really liked the romance. It's definitely felt very mafia. I would have liked a little more like danger in the mafia, because I do like mafia in my mafia romances, and it's really her just like working and trying to not fall for this guy, but then also not tell him who she is. I just really liked it. I had so much fun. I'm excited to read more from this author. I think this is the one people love, if I'm not mistaken, or is it a different one in the series? I don't remember, but see what the hype is about, and I'm excited to read more. Then I read Forever Wild. It just says the couple's name on the cover, by Rebecca Genshak. This book is so cute. This one is a hockey romance. I gave it 5 stars. This is the art copy she sent out. This is the last book in the series, and I have only read the previous book. I haven't read the other books, but I definitely want to go back to. I think I actually read 1. Is this book 5, actually? Now I don't remember, and it doesn't say in here, but whatever book number this is, I've only read 2 other books in the series, and this one is our age gap romance, and the heroine is actually the sister of one of his teammates, and he is the captain. So he got injured in the very end of the last season. He ran into like a patch of ice or something, and he got injured, and so in this he is very grumpy, and he is recovering over the summer. He hates life, he hates everybody, and the heroine is house sitting for everyone while they are on vacation or like at their other houses during the off season. And so she comes by their houses, and then she is like, why don't I check on him? And then she makes excuses to like hang out at his pool because he has the best pool, and it's their romance. They have a really good attraction, they have really, really good banter, and the hero is so hard at accepting help, and she just won't let him say no, and I love that. And it's an age gap, and it is hockey, and it is so, so good. I had so much fun reading this. 5 stars. So good. I love her books, and I can't wait to go back and read some in the beginning of the series. Then I actually listened to these 2 back to back while I was scanning my entire library, and that is Belladonna and Foxglove. So these 2 are really, really solid reads. I think I'm giving them both 4 stars, and now I'm trying to remember the difference between them. So Belladonna felt very gothic and very historical romance. So the heroine, she actually has an interesting, it's hard to explain, but an interesting relationship with death. So she can't die, and when she is on the verge of death or people around her dies, she literally sees like the embodiment of death visit, and she experiences a death in the beginning and has to go stay with a new family. So she is like whisked away to this estate and has to stay there, and someone is poisoning someone there. And that's all I want to explain, and they use like belladonna berries to do it, and so they're trying to figure out that mystery. And each book has kind of a mystery, because in this one she goes to Foxglove and they're trying to undercover a murder. People think it's this one girl's dad, and they know it wasn't him, so they're trying to do that. And I will say I liked book 1 better than book 2, and there's a romance in here that is so good though, that I was obsessed with at the beginning of book 2, because there's kind of a relationship with death. But then you have a kind of love triangle-y situation occur in book 2 with someone else, and I was hooked. But then it did change POVs in book 2 for some parts that I wasn't as excited about, and there are so many characters in here that the audiobook kind of made it a little bit hard to follow along, especially when I was doing something else like scanning my books. So I definitely wanted to pay more attention to these than I was able to because of all the characters. I ended up following along just fine, but I think to be really, really, really immersed in this world, it's better to fully focus on them. But I still really enjoyed them. So I'm giving them both 4 stars. I think I liked book 1, like I said, a little bit better than book 2, but I've heard book 3 is the best. So I am excited to read book 3. I'm just not someone who's obsessed with the gothic vibe lately, and I know that is so in right now, and people love gothic romances or just gothic books in general, and it's not something that'll sell me. I really need to love the romance and the plot more, and I will say the plot was a little bit weaker in book 2, and I didn't love the mystery as much. I really didn't care about who like had killed this guy, but the romance in book 2, for the first half. The second half was just fine. But the bombs dropped at the end. So 4 stars for these. Really enjoyed reading them. I read them with my Patreon and we had so much fun. So loved reading this with them. Then I read Finding Hayes by Laura Pavlov. I listened to this on audio and I'm giving this one 4 stars. Definitely not my favorite in the series, but it was still a really solid, really adorable small town romance. The hero and heroine do have a little bit of a past together, and the heroine needs to marry in order to inherit this like grandfather figure's house. She got really big on social media for like her interior design and like home improvement, and she would love to do that with his house, but the stipulation in the will says she has to marry or else it goes to someone else. And she was very close with this man, and he was like a grandfather figure to her, but she had left town, and her best friend growing up just left on really bad terms, and they both are mad at each other, but there's a bit of a misconception of what happened and why, and there are letters involved in here, which I always love. And it was just a really sweet marriage of convenience, friends to lovers romance with kind of like they were separated because of circumstances out of their control. So I definitely really enjoyed this one. Like I said, I liked other ones in this better, but it's just this series was so strong that I think on average it was 4 and 5 star books. So really love this series. 4 stars, highly recommend. It's over now, which is so sad. I think I just liked the book before this so much more because it was just so good, but this one's still great. Then I read Elphemies to Lovers by Jennifer Chitman, which is a elf with Santa Claus's son romance, but she doesn't know she's an elf. So she works at this like Christmas Wonderland amusement park in Florida, and this like exec guy comes to like look over the company, and it's really Santa's son, and he has this really big draw to her. So it's not enemies to lovers like the title kind of implies. Very like, shortly enemies, like 2 pages, and then she just can't stop thinking of him, he can't stop thinking of her, and then he realizes she is the daughter of a runaway elf, and so he takes her home for Christmas to the North Pole. And spicy times ensue, and it's just a really fun novella. I gave it 4 stars, but know when you go in, it's just a spicy novella here for Christmas time with an elf and Santa's son. Then I read An Arc of All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. This one was on NetGalley for a little bit, and this one comes out in January, and it is so good. So it's definitely more on the suspensey side of romantic suspense because the heroine is a podcaster. She's a true crime podcaster, and her sister was taken when she was in college and they never saw her again. And so she is now like dedicating her life to trying to help people solve crimes, and she's actually broken a few open that she's covered on her podcast. And she finds a abduction that she thinks was the start of the serial killer who took her sister. And so she visits that town, and the town sheriff wants her to leave. He wants nothing to do with her. He thinks that she's just going to damage the town and just bring up a really painful past for everybody in the town. And it's actually their romance. It's very hate to love, but he's not mean. It's more like, I really don't want you here, but I can't stop thinking about you. And I love it so much. This book is so good. The suspense is amazing. Like the way it shocked me moment after moment. I was floored at the reveals in this book, and the romance is everything. I love the hero so much, and I love the true crime podcast aspect. We see her living out of her van. She has a really cute 3-legged cat, and it was just the best. Seriously, if there's any Catherine Cowles book to read, it is this new one that comes out in January. Could not recommend it enough. Then I read the novella Once Upon a Christmas Tree by Lulu Moore. This one I'm conflicted about the end, which is why I got 4 stars. It's a prequel novella, and it does not have an HEA. It has like an happy for now kind of cliffhanger going on. I don't know if we'll see this couple in a next book, but the heroine is a Christmas tree farm owner and bakery owner and Christmas shop owner. She works in Aspen, and she has all these businesses because they were her parents and they both passed away. So she really tries hard at them. She also works at a bar because she wants to like honor their memory and also pay off all of their medical bills that she still has to pay. The hero is a lord from England, and his brother just got left at the altar because I think she was cheating. So all the brothers go to Aspen for the holidays together, and he hates Christmas because his father passed away right before Christmas, and he always blamed himself for it. So he absolutely hates it, but he shows up and he is so taken by her. And she loves Christmas. She literally has a Christmas tree farm and a bakery and a store, and there is a gingerbread competition in town that hundreds of people enter, and it is so intense, and the hero decides he wants to enter, and it is a really fun time. Spicy times are great, but like I said, it kind of ends on a kind of cliffhanger, so you don't know the future of their romance, so I'd be interested to see where it goes. But I love Lulu more. This was fun, and I'm excited for the rest of the series. Then on the plane ride home, I reread The Affair by Gianna Darling. This one is a cheating romance. The heroine meets the hero at the beginning of her vacation to Mexico, and she is infatuated with him, and he's infatuated with her. It's an instant attraction, but he admits that he is in a long-term relationship. He's not married, but they've been together for years, and he's like, but I want you. So the romance goes from there. If you hate cheating, you probably don't want to pick this up, but it is definitely very angsty. The heroine has a lot of inner turmoil over wanting to be with this man and knowing it can't go anywhere, but wanting it to go somewhere, and not wanting to break up a relationship, but also not being able to deny him and resist him. And he is just a very wealthy, attractive man. And they're in paradise together. So super, super spicy. I really enjoyed it. I love Gianna's book, so I gave this one 4 stars. I'm excited to continue the series, which I haven't read yet, which is why I read this one, because I want to continue the series, but I haven't read this one in a while, so hopefully I can finally finish the rest of her backlist I haven't read yet. And the last book I read is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ally Carter, and this one's like a 4.5 stars. I love this audiobook. Someone recommended it to me because it's romantic suspense Christmas. 2 of my favorite things. So the heroine and hero are actually both thriller writers, and they're invited to this very like prolific thriller writer's house for Christmas, and they're like, this is weird, and she actually hates him because of reasons, but the history of them is so sweet from his perspective. I loved it. They had met before and she didn't remember, and it was the sweetest moment ever. And the writer that invited them goes missing, and she had locked her door. They think she was poisoned, and no one knows where she went. And so they're trying to uncover this mystery and what happened and why, and I thought it was so much fun. And the hero is just so sweet and so complex, and I just love their relationship so much, and she kind of like let him in and trusted him, and then kind of talked through like why they hated each other and what happened, and it was so good. I love the unraveling of the mystery at the end. It was a very quick romance to read, took place during the Christmas time, and I thought it was just so fun. 4.5 stars. I love the audiobook, would definitely recommend listening to it that way. And yeah, that's all I have to share about that, because I don't want to spoil anything, but if you're looking for something unique for Christmas, read this one. And those are the books that I read in the first half of the month. Let me know what you've read so far this month and what you thought of these. If you've read any of them, let me know. I would love to hear. And if you have made it this far, leave me a... Why don't you leave me a mushroom emoji? Those are cute. Leave me a mushroom emoji if you made it this far, just because. And that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.